of how I'll be standing here and I'll hold my hand up. This doesn't look like my hand. I guess because my hand is blocking my shoulder. Is it like... I don't know. It just looks like somebody else is holding up a hand off screen. Oh, wow. I have no idea what they were talking about. Okay. Hello, heroes, and how are you doing? Another review has been stewing. Beast Morphers in store. This is episode 4. Digital Deception is brewing. But first, I wanted to vent about a certain kind of comment I got a few times. It's about all the rhymes I used in the last review, gent. I made a big effort to say that was done for a holiday. But alas, Betty Ben, do not do that again. So let's just get one thing clear, eh? I'll give you a bit of advice, something that it would be nice for you to remember till the end of December, or else you might pay a price. Away from this comment type hue, or I might just ban zap you. Pew! Sorry if that sounds mean, but I'm definitely not keen on being told by people what to do. But there must be a penalty for the nasty comments I got, see? So your ears I will bend, and let's go again! Another review in all rhymes, yee! But it's another holiday leading to the things that I say. You may be feeling dread or seeing all red. Heroes, April Fool's Day! Yes, heroes, I have no immediate plans to do another review entirely in rhyme. But you should know that I was serious about one thing. I detest getting comments giving me orders. Do this, or don't do that. I'm going to put my foot down a little bit here. This is my channel. I am under no obligation to review things in a certain specific style. And that's actually another factor in this. I have reviewed over 100 episodes of Power Rangers. The second season of Beast Morphers is going to see my 150th episode review. It can get a little dull doing the same thing the same way week after week. It can be fun to mix things up now and then. And to me, that's what really matters about last week's video. I had fun. That was a fun review to write, film, and produce. I do understand that that style can get a little grating over a long video, and if you left comments that said things like, that was cute, but I kind of hope you don't do that again, or, wow, that got a little hard to listen to after a while, you're fine, don't worry about that. It was just the comments that very simply said, never do a review in rhyme again, that got to me big time. And as much as it's going to make this video that much longer, I actually have something else I need to discuss with you, but fortunately it's far more positive. If you're new to my channel, you may not know about this, but about a month ago, YouTube demonetized my YouTube channel for using copyrighted material. I maintain to this day that it's material that I had every right to use under United States copyright law. The thing is, Europe is in the process of passing more restrictive copyright guidelines, and YouTube was trying to get ahead of the curve. However, and I'm so sorry to abuse some of your ears with one more limerick, but you may remember me saying this last week. I will say if YouTube is nice and returns to me ads in their price, I would have to say screen caps now cannot stay. Hear that, YouTube? I'm here to entice. On my honor, just 2 days after that video was posted, YouTube approved my application for remonetization. That's right, Orange Ranger Videos is monetized again. The ads you saw before this video are benefiting myself as well as YouTube once again. Did Hasbro see the video? I mean, I know they saw the video because they make manual claims on them, but did they see the video and nudge YouTube to take action? Did YouTube see the video themselves and just decide to be nice about it based on that promise? Was this just a massive coincidence and they finally got to my application and just decided to be nice? Who knows and who cares? My channel has been remonetized, and as I promised last week, it's time for the Orange Ranger to behave. That's right, screen caps are now a thing of the past, as so many of you have been begging me, worried about the status of my channel. I'm going to play around with the best way to review episodes without using them, but it's pretty much just going to be me gaining confidence in being the only thing on screen. Also, and believe it or not, this actually bugs me a little bit more, I'm going to stop using the cutaway gag clips. They were really fun to use, I really enjoyed working them into videos, and actually in the entire time that I used them, and this was like 5 to 10 or more of video, I only ever got one copyright claim because of them, but now that I'm remonetized, I'd rather not take that chance. Maybe when I finally start my Patreon and that becomes enough of a revenue source to replace YouTube's monetization, I'll change things back to the way they were, but for now, I'm gonna be good. And speaking of being good, it'd be good to finally get the review of this episode started. So heroes, let's take a look at the 4th episode of Beast Morphers, Digital Deception. The episode opens with Ben and Betty bringing in some Valentine's Day gifts that they've been sent by their adoring fans. Yes, it turns out that whatever year Beast Morphers takes place in, it's not exactly aligned with reality as far as the month. It is February instead of March. Betty has brought in some flowers, but it turns out that those flowers had a bee on them. Ben says that Grid Battle Force is a sterile environment, which means the flowers would have been scanned for any life forms before being brought in. So they try to catch or smash the bee, and comic relief flailing ensues, which never really goes well at the start of an episode, seeing as there's nothing to relieve. Interesting thing to note here is that this scene is based on one of the audition scripts for the characters of Ben and Betty that was leaked while the show was casting. We didn't get the other one adapted into the episode where Ben and Betty had eaten all of the Rangers' Valentine's chocolate, and Commander Shaw then informs them that it may have been poisoned, but that's a little bit dark, so that does make sense. So hey, let's slam the brakes on the emotional tone of the episode and go 180 degrees in the other direction, huh? Comic relief, eh? Ravi visits Roxy's pod. You folks notice that nobody ever visits Blaze's pod? Anyway, he places a rose on it, which eerily makes it feel kind of like a coffin more than a life support pod, and wishes her a happy Valentine's Day, flashing back to a date the two of them had the previous year, of which we see a photo. He says he misses her so much and would do anything to get her back. But I'm sure that won't be a factor in anything. Over in Cyberland, where they only drink Diet Coke, Roxy has a digital copy of the rose. As she explains, she has access to all of her human memories, so she knows that it's Valentine's Day and remembers the date with Ravi that Ravi was flashing back to. However, Roxy has far more sinister intentions. She intends to play on Ravi's emotions and capture him to turn him to their side, creating an evil Blue Ranger for Evox. There is a tiny little plot hole here, and any fans of Star Trek will remember this being a thing with Data and, to a lesser extent, Spock. Roxy says that she doesn't have any of the messy emotions of humanity, but in this very scene expresses disgust, excitement, confidence, etc. Nate is out and about, stopping at a flower stand and grabbing a bouquet of yellow flowers. Nearby, Roxy teleports in and activates a viral key, using it on a shovel truck and creating Shoveltron. The robot asks when it can attack, and Roxy says, "Go for it now, we want the Rangers' attention." It starts blasting around everywhere and seemingly hits Nate, but apparently just knocks him back. He hides and contacts Grid Battle Force. Why not just contact the Rangers? We head back over to the Riptide Gym for the first time since the first episode, actually. Devin offers Zoe a Valentine's Day cookie, but she refuses, insisting that she really loves her carrots. Seeing how fast they perk her up, I don't doubt that. Ravi takes a seat, Devin offers him one, but he says he's not really fond of Valentine's Day. Commander Shaw contacts the Rangers and alerts them to the attack. The Rangers get over there, Shoveltron summons some Tronics, the Rangers smack their communicators, and summon their blasters. It was a nice little bit of misdirection there. We actually get a very nice unmorphed fight instead, with Zoe showing off her agility, And Devin dropping a Star Wars reference about having the higher ground. If I were still using cutaway gags, I would place it here. Oh well. Ravi is taking on Shoveltron, backflipping away from his various attacks. Roxy sees her opportunity and tosses some watering cans behind Ravi, tripping him up. Shoveltron advances on Ravi, and after thinking about it for the length of a 30-second opening theme, Roxy jumps out and defends him, telling Shoveltron to stop and that they're leaving. She turns, shoots Ravi a pained look, and teleports away, leaving Ravi in shock. Back at Grid Battle Force, Commander Shaw shows off her intelligence by pointing out that Shoveltron showed no interest in gathering any Morphs, just attacking things. So clearly something else was going on. It then gets a little bit weird as she suddenly berates Nate for leaving the base. Excuse me? Is he a prisoner? Crucial to your mission or not, he is a person. She restricts him to the buddy system, saying he can't leave the base without a friend with him. Miss Shaw? You may want to remember that it's Ravi that's your son. She leaves, and Ravi takes out the photo that we saw earlier. Since Roxy saved him, Ravi asked Nate if there could be any good remaining in Roxy, a piece of her former self. Nate can't quite bring himself to say no, so the other two Rangers take care of that for him, saying that she cannot be trusted. That is not the answer that Ravi was looking for, so he leaves. Devin says that he thought that Ravi dumped Roxy, but they explain that it was because of the rules. He heads back to that same park with the fountain, and Roxy was on the same wavelength, meeting him there. She insists that she's not there for a fight. She just came to wish him a happy Valentine's Day, giving him a digital copy of the rose. Ravi asks if she remembers that park's meaning, and again, the Avatar has access to all of Roxy's human memories, so she does. It was the place that they first met. Ravi was training for Grid Battle Force, injured his ankle, and Roxy practically carried him to his car. When Ravi asks her if the real Roxy is in there somewhere, she tells him that she's been able to overcome the influence of the Evox virus from time to time, but needs his help to overcome it entirely. If he can bring her a neural aligner, a piece of the morphing machine from before, the piece on top, then she can use that to completely overcome the Evox virus. He seems doubtful, so she adds a masterful piece to her deception, suddenly claiming that they are looking for her and teleporting away in a hurry. Now she's in danger, so Ravi feels like he has to help her. Ravi walks into the lab with his gym bag and asks Nate if a neural aligner could turn an evil avatar good. Nate, kind of distracted working on other devices, still stops for a moment to say that it's possible, but something that would require a lot more data and research than they have. He then turns to work on something with the other devices, and Ravi secretly scoops one of the aligners into his gym bag and leaves. Zoe and Devin enter the lab sometime later looking for Ravi, who missed their gym appointment, and who is, according to Zoe, usually annoyingly punctual. Nate tells them that he was just there and asking about the neural aligner, and then looking at them on the shelf, he realizes that one of them is missing. The Rangers and Nate almost piece this together a little too quickly. Ravi took the aligner, he took it because Roxy told him to, and the two of them will be meeting in that exact same park. Roxy stands tapping her fingers, looking incredibly annoyed and impatient as she waits for Ravi to arrive. But when he does, she cracks an evil smile before turning to him and looking good and pleasantly surprised. He says he wants to help her if he can and gives her the neural aligner. She connects it to her computer and activates a morph program. But then Shoveltron grabs Ravi. Roxy says that Ravi told her that he wanted them to be together, and when she infects him with the Evox virus, they will be. Ravi insists there is still good inside Roxy, but she just calls him a sucker. Just as the Morph-X is about to turn Ravi into whatever the evil Blue Ranger would be, though wait, there's no animal DNA present. Or would it use the gorilla DNA that's already inside Ravi? Anyway, Zoe and Devin show up, shooting the aligner and deactivating it. Roxy tells Shoveltron to attack the Rangers while she runs off and calls Scrozzle, saying that she's got a problem. He sees the aligner and says that he can use that, telling Roxy to bring that to him. She grabs it and teleports away. The Rangers see this, but there's not really much they can do about it, so they decide to focus on Shoveltron morphing. He summons more Tronics, and we actually start out with a nice original morphed fight footage scene at that New Zealand park with the fountain, before Zoe and Ravi run over into some Sentai footage. Scrozzle says he's got a Gigadroid for the Rangers that's going to be unbaitable. Best pun of the season and a top 5 Ranger pun of all time. That was amazing, Scrozzle. Well done. It morphs into Shovel Droid and Scrozzle teleports it to Coral Harbor, and now the Rangers are dealing with a large robot and a small robot at the same time. A rare problem for Ranger teams to have. Ravi and Zoe are already dealing with Shoveltron, so Devin summons the Racer Zord to deal with Shovel Droid. He changes into battle mode and starts whacking away at it, and I gotta take this opportunity to say that one of the things I love about the Transformers-esque Zord footage is how the low-angle shots make the Zords feel big, not just like regular-sized things fighting in a toy city. The droid starts firing missiles, and Devin can't quite shoot them down fast enough, so he and Cruz plot out a course to get behind the droid, switching into cheetah mode so they can run really fast. Meanwhile, Zoe has Ravi distract the Tron so she can get behind it and leap into the air, slashing down at it. With perfect synchronicity, Devin's Zord does exactly the same thing, and then each set of Rangers does their finishing moves, finishing off both robots at the same time. Roxy heads back to the cyber dimension, meeting back up with Blaze, and the two of them overhear Scrozzle talking to Evox. He shows him the neural aligner, saying it's a key to the plan that he was telling Evox about earlier to get Evox out of the cyber dimension. And he makes sure to note that when this plan works, it's Scrozzle he'll owe his thanks to, not the human avatars. Ravi visits Roxy's pod again, saying he still misses her, but has come to terms with the fact that her avatar is not her at all, and is 100% evil. The other two Rangers come to check on him and promise that if the three of them work as a team, they can destroy the avatars and get their friends back. Ravi says he'd be far lonelier now without his new friends. Aww. On their way out of the lab, an aide gives Zoe some flowers that were delivered for her. The note just says that they're from a secret admirer, but Nate sees her getting the flowers and stops dead in the hallway, hiding to watch her reaction. Ooh, somebody's got a little crush. Commander Shaw walks up and seeing the flowers reminds her to tell the Rangers that they actually have an entire truckload of Valentine's gifts from fans, and that Ben and Betty were unloading them in the hangar. Though what Ben and Betty are actually doing is still trying to catch that bee. They've hung up a giant piece of fly paper and plan to chase the bee into it with fly swatters. Of course, chasing after the bee leads to the two of them jumping onto the flypaper and getting stuck, and then the bees, because there were actually two, escape when the Rangers walk through the door. Comedy! There's no mountains in the Everglades. Your tolerance for limericks fades, but I won't be displeasing. Calm down, I'm just teasing. So heroes, let's throw us some shades. Episode 4. Digital Deception. Pros: amazing acting and character development from/for Roxy and Ravi, great original footage, and serial storytelling. Cons: Ben and Betty, just Ben and Betty in general. Treatment of Nate is troubling, and a couple of lines had a stilted delivery. I'm running out of ways to say that was really good. I guess I forgot how after Ninja Steel. That was really good. Digital Deception gets 4.5 shades out of 5. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Jasmeet Budwalia and especially Liana Ramirez. Their acting in this episode was just fantastic. Roxy was deliciously evil, and this woman has a great talent for facial expressions. She actually said on Twitter that her face has a mind of its own, but no, Liana. That is a gift. Just the way that Roxy was able to switch back and forth, to put on the doe eyes and convince Ravi that, no, really, she's the real Roxy. She wants to be good. And then just switch it back off, turn evil, call him a sucker. Ugh! Roxy's got a line in the Beast X Morpher where she says, I can't help being bad, I'm just programmed that way. It's clearly a Jessica Rabbit reference, and this is the prime example of that. Roxy's avatar was born to be bad. And I don't at all mean to downplay Ravi since I'm lavishing so much praise on Roxy. The lack of trust at first, confusion about her saving him, and then coming all the way around to stealing technology from Grid Battle Force for her, only to be embarrassed and feel the pain of having been fooled by her, was just extremely excellent. You know, this plotline actually serves a story function overall as well. For Ravi and Roxy to truly act as enemies, we needed to get this moment where he learns the hard way that this is not his girlfriend. There's a great bit of original footage in this episode showcasing Hasbro's dedication to the season. I'm not just talking about the fight with the grunts, though that was actually great too, and I love the fact that they dedicated the time to it versus just racing straight to the morphing sequence. However, we all know that the morphing sequence is the perfect time to switch over from original footage to Sentai footage. But not here. Here, they stay in the park in original footage, the fountain in the shot, establishing exactly where everything is taking place. It just establishes within the story where this fight is taking place, that they haven't gone anywhere, they're in the exact same spot, before Zoe and Ravi run across Sentai footage street over to the Go Busters office complex. It's just another example of that attention to detail that has made this season so awesome thus far. And I just love serial sequential storytelling, where elements of episodes place them into a specific order, where even the filler episodes have story elements that go from one episode to the next. I want to talk about Nate first, because his actually stretches in both directions. Obviously, Nate has a crush on Zoe, and we'll see where that goes in future episodes. But here's a little thought I had. Think back to last week. Why was Grid Battle Force's lead scientist working on putting together a bike for Zoe when that had nothing to do with supporting the Power Rangers, and he probably had more important projects to work on? Oh. You see, one thing that I'm loving about the writing of this season is that we see characters act on traits and personality quirks we don't even necessarily know about yet. I want to love Ben and Betty. I really do. As a matter of fact, the characters themselves I actually really like. I just like them a lot more when they're involved in the plot like they were last week. They made a bike that gave Zoe the idea to make changes to her design. They jumped into battle right alongside the Rangers and even saved Devon. This week, the two of them lose their minds over a friggin' bee. The only connection that it has to the plot is that it's Valentine's Day and they were the ones unloading the gifts. They looked entirely ineffective in the hangar and they were bested by bees. The two of them can be funny without being idiots. I really want them to be used better. Their two scenes this week were absolutely unnecessary to the plot. Commander Shaw's reaction to Nate leaving the lab was even more confusing and troubling than I think I let on at first. If he were even younger, okay, fine, but Nate's supposed to be, what, like 16? He works at Grid Battle Force. He's not a prisoner there. It's only Grid Battle Force's semi-militaristic nature. Is Grid Battle Force a private military corporation? That means Nate even has to listen to her. Now, I can see this tying into the plot in two ways. First of all would be his crush on Zoe. He wants to go and get her another gift, but now he has to have a buddy with him. Devon or Ravi is the only one available, so they have to be let in on this, and it becomes a buddy thing about trying to make this work, etc. The other would be semi-spoilery, but we know this is coming at this point, the invention of Nate's buddy bot, making himself a buddy so he can leave whenever he wants to. I hope, however, that it plays into his character in a third way, defying her orders and leaving the base to do whatever he wants. This is a weak third con. I almost didn't include it and just went with 2, but there were 2 lines in the episode that I thought took a little step back from the quality acting that we've been getting so far. The first is Devin's line after it's explained to him why Ravi dumped Roxy. It was just a bit stilted and wordy and didn't come out quite naturally. The other is at the end of the episode when Ravi tells the Rangers that he'd be lonelier without them. It's a cute line, but it was almost too cute and a little difficult to deliver or take seriously. All in all, Beast Morphers is still rolling, still going really strong, and the hard-earned skepticism from 2 seasons of Ninja Steel is becoming harder and harder to maintain. Next week, the show hits its first numerical milestone with episode number 5. We've had a yellow focus and a blue focus, so I guess it's time for Mr. Red Leader to show us what he's got. So let's see what Devin has in store by taking a peek at the 5th episode of Beast Morphers, Taking Care of Business. Devin finds it difficult to balance a new job he took to impress his dad and the duties of being the Red Power Ranger. Taking care of business. Oh, sorry. That's going to do it for another Beast Morphers episode review. Heroes, thank you so much as always for watching. Down in the comments below, let me know what you thought of this episode as well as my review of it. And while you're down there, make sure to smack that thumbs up button and let me know that you enjoyed this video. Remember, I'm remonetized, so if you watch those ads, I would love that. But if you'd like some other way to support the channel, 1, make sure you're subscribed so you see all of my videos, especially these Beast Morphers episode reviews whenever they come out. But if you'd like to lend any financial support to the channel, you can head over to ko-fi.com/orangerangervideos and you can give me a coffee. Those are set at $3. Or head over to digitaltipjar.com/orangerangervid. Toss whatever little tip change in there you would like. I greatly appreciate anything I find at those 2 sources. Beast Morphers is still rolling, heroes. I'm loving it so far. Until next time, may the power protect you. Hello, heroes, and how are you doing? Another review now is brewing. This is it's for episode 4. But there must be a penalty for those comments that and as much as it's going to make this video that much longer, I actually it's February instead of April. And that's actually March, and I was still looking at that. Yes, it turns out that whatever year Beast Morphers takes it, that we had leaked a little bit before the show began. Eerily enough, that kind of made it feel more like a coffin than a life support pod, but anyway. And that take was going well until Sassy decided to kick the power cord. Nate, kind of busy and distracted working on other... Ravi visits Roxy's pod again, but... On their way out of the lab, and though what Ben and Betty are still... were elements of one episode of...